everybody, welcome to George Reviews. I am the 80s Transformer fan. Today on George Reviews, I'll be taking a look at Masters of the Universe Revelations Skeletor from the Masterverse line. It is a Netflix original series inspired figure, or the figure inspired the Netflix original series. It's from Mattel. Here's Skeletor, the Lord of Destruction, inside its window box packaging. You can see the figure fully within his accessories. He has a set of extra hands, the shaping staff, and his havoc staff, and clearly the figure right there. The side of the box, we have some artwork for Skeletor. Looks like he's about to cast a spell. Looks pretty darn good. You can see the havoc staff down there, some like flame and some embers kicking up. Back of the box, I guess more of that same scene, the secondary pose. He's just let off a spell because the havoc staff eyes are smoking. You can see Snake Mountain in the background, the moonlight, other figures available within the wave, and a bio for Skeletor. You can pause that and check that out. Side of the box, nothing on this side of the box, just Skeletor, evil Lord of Destruction right there. So let's get Skeletor out of his box and check him out. I love the fact that they make it easy to get these guys out. Oh, there's tape on Skeletor's box. He's the first guy to open that had tape on the box. Here is Skeletor. Havoc staff, familiar but different design and different take on it, as they always do with each iteration of the figure. Skeletor out of the pack. He has a soft goods cape. I'm always a fan of soft goods capes. Shaping staff. Extra right and left hands. All right, let's get to work and take a look at Skeletor. The first thing I want to point out is his face. I do not like the face. Not just because of the sculpt, but in the cartoon, it was a lot more yellow. This is like almost like human bone color. It's like a gray with a gray wash on it. And I don't think it's that great. On the cartoon, let me slide them back so I stick a picture in. The cartoon, it was yellow. Basically, it was yellow. It wasn't as bright yellow as the vintage cartoon, but it was definitely yellow. Here's a pic. Yeah, and with Skeletor, that's his feature. That's the main thing that you got to get right, is the skull and the face. And I don't think they got it right here. I'm not a fan of the stylization of the hood with the little pointed piece hanging down. Then the heads on these guys, especially Skeletor, is smaller, and I guess it would be because he doesn't have the flesh over the skull, but still, man, it just comes across as tiny. Immediately, it's just not right. It's just not right, especially with the yellow. But I'm not gonna harp on. I'm gonna push on, take a look at what's there. Like the skull, like I said, it's almost like a bone color. It has a gray wash on it. He has deep set eye sockets with like a glossy paint in there. And I think that's kind of a mistake too. They should have went with a flat paint. The teeth, boy, he brushes his teeth every day. His teeth are bright white. You think it would all be the same color. The hood itself, it has some texturing to it, which is very nice. But again, I don't like this little point. I'm just not used to it. You know, they could have did without that. Coming down to the top of his armor, I don't like this either. The spacing between the tassels, I just don't like that. I'm used to it like laying like this, but I'm gonna come down to that. I'm not a fan of this, and it could be softer. It's kind of hard, and then it comes down. This whole piece is separate, sitting on top of here. Guess I'll get around to that, but the whole piece is separate. Then he comes down to the cloth cape. Now, why I'm a fan of cloth capes, this looks like a home custom. This is like somebody just got some fabric and cut it and put it around. Like, just look at it. Like, I don't know. It's just not good. I don't know how to explain it, but this doesn't look like something you would expect from a company or a factory. It just has no curvature to it. It could be bellowed out a little bit more on both sides. It's just enough, you know, like somebody just did just enough. Then the wash right here and the dry brushing just looks so like they just hit it. It doesn't look like they meant to add any detail, like let's just get a little something on here. And that's what it looks like. Like, not too impressed by this, like the head, the shoulders, and so far. Then he still retains the bat on top of his armor from other incarnations. You can still kind of see it. It's a little bit different, but you can see it. And then he has the bones from the skull and crossbones on the top piece, but it's a separate piece from the bottom harness. I don't know if this is to make it more functional to undress him, take his armor and stuff off. I don't know, but for whatever reason they chose to go with that. And I'll come back to that when I take all the armor off. And it continues down here to, I say skull and crossbone, but there is no skull. He is the skull. It's a circle and crossbones. And then it comes down to the straps. The straps are given a little bit more detail in this incarnation. Looks to be like some type of leather with a couple little notches on the side. Some raised portions on either side, which looks nice. His body is all blue plastic with a few paint apps like for his fingers and whatnot. His waist, this is a purple plastic, separate piece. And then the loincloth. Now this looks to be a dark blue. The camera's picking that up. A purplish dark blue with some black wash on it. Again, it looked like it's just specifically just slapped on there. It doesn't look really that good. And turn them around, the back is the same. But I do like how they did it better. I don't like how it's spaced out on the shoulders. I'm happy it's not like that. It doesn't look bad, but it just looked like they didn't put a lot into the wash. And his boots, he has a shin armor right here. It looks to be glued on to the shin. I don't know if that's the whole piece. Yeah, this is the whole piece. And then the scope comes up here, and then it's assembled down inside the boot cut or whatever. So that's pretty much it. This is his feet. He has some stamping on the bottom of this one. And man, he has some fat toes. These are the fattest toes we ever seen from a Skeletor. He has 3 toes on his feet. So let's run down Skeletor's articulation now. Taking his head for a 360 trip. He can look down this much. And he can't really go back that much. I'm trying. I don't know if it's the hood, the armor, or what. But that's all we getting out of it. Because it's a ball joint, we should be able to get more side to side, or more side this way, not that way, but a little bit. You can rock around. Shoulders, you can come up this far. You see it's pushing on the armor, turning the head and everything else right there because it's too hard. It's not that hard, but it's hard. And then look, as I bend it up, it's stressing right there. So you want to be careful on that and not break the dang on armor tassels because it's not made like this. And why they made it different, I don't know. It's harder. Or it might be more brittle because it's separate pieces. I don't know, but it feels harder. So I'm going to do the bicep swivel. Swivels at the bicep. All these figures have the same standard articulation. In case I'm just blowing through it. Double jointed elbow bend right there. Skeletor get his hands up like this. And this is not part of his articulation, but I do want to show he has one open fist. He's packaged open gripping fist with the, looks like dark purple nails. And over here, he's packaged with a closed fist for punching and fighting and just being evil. Coming to his wrist, 360, hinges in and out. The upper torso articulation going to allow movement like this, down this far, and rearing back that far, and side to side. 360 at the waist. We can see the cheap-ass cape again. Down to his legs. And the design here does not allow his legs to kick out far. The plastic is hidden against the top mold. This is as wide of a stance as he can get. A little disappointing. You know, Skeletor is not really an athlete, but still, you know, posing toys. It's a little bit disappointing. Leg comes up this far, and the loincloth is pushing it right back down. Back this far, and the butt piece right here is keeping it from going back, which is a purple plastic underneath right there. Take a look at that. Thigh cut. It's very stiff, 360 out of that. Double hinge knee. We can get it up and get it hinged. It's tight in the top hinges and giving. There we go. Get his foot back that far. And we saw the little shin cut hidden right in there. The toe hinge. And we're not getting any rocker. I know there's no rocker on Skeletor. I can't feel anything unless it's froze. What? That one moved. So the other leg might be froze hard. And you don't want to break the dang on thing. I don't like that. So there is a rocker in there because this one is rocking. Alright, let's take a look at Skeletor's accessories. First up, I'm going to bring up the shaping staff. This shaping staff was originally introduced, as far as I know, in the original Filmation cartoon. It has been since packaged with several Master of the Universe toys. I think Evil Lyn and the Classics line and a few more other figures. And I think it stopped short It's supposed to be like a longer staff. This is like a short shaping staff. And you can get it in his hand just like that. And it gives him the ability to, I guess, warp reality and create images or whatever and disguises and cloak himself as other people. So that is the shaping staff. Not much to it. It's just a gold plastic. As far as gold plastic, it's done well, but it's just gold plastic. And all right, I'm going to interchange his hand before I go to the Havoc staff. This is an open hand, and you can even say maybe a slight spell hand or gesturing. Open, pop that in right there, and now we're going to break out the Havoc staff. Let's get a little bit of a better look at that staff. It's like a lighter purple with a wash on it, a better wash than on the rest of his body. The ram's head. The eyes look to be a flat black, which these eyes are not, which they should have did. He has the teeth coming down. Man, this is like the scariest, spookiest, evilest looking staff, Havoc staff that he's ever had to my knowledge. It has like a newer design down here that I've never seen before. Does it swivel at the top? Oh yeah, it swivels. I saw this was off center. It actually spins at the top. Only so far. Mine goes this far. I don't want to spin all the way around and snap the dang on thing off. But it's just a purple plastic. It has a little bit of shimmer to it. And the ram's head. Let's get this in his hand. It's a pretty cool looking Havoc staff. I give it that. My favorite Havoc staff that I've seen is the Filmation Classics version or Club Grayskull. And here's Skeletor. I mean, this is all you need right here, really. The Havoc staff. He's not packaged with a sword, oddly enough. Not even his own sword or whatever. I know they're not doing a half power sword thing here, but he's not packaged with a sword. We get the shaping staff instead. And then he has this more open hand. Switch this out. And it's just an open hand where like he's monologuing. He-Man, give me the sword. Or he's just talking. It's not really a spell hand. Guess he can block something with it, but not, he could have got his finger spread a little bit. And I didn't mention the ridges. He's always had these ridges on his forearms. There they are on both forearms. Now to think about it, sorry I didn't mention that. But this hand could be a little bit better, right? So that is our Skeletor from this line. All right, here's Skeletor next to the majority of my Skeletors from different Master of the Universe toy line incarnations. Right here we got the vintage based on the animation Skeletor. We got the classics based on the animation Filmation Skeletor. We got the standard classic Skeletor with the Origins 2-pack head. And then we got the Origins Skeletor that's based on the original Skeletor. And these two guys right here, these two Skeletors can battle it out for worst head. Like, I don't like either one of these. This look like a Halloween mask, the way it's large and stretched out. And man, I just don't like this one. Like, where is the yellow? I might try to do it myself, but yeah, this just doesn't work for me as a head. And like I said, this head came from an Origins figure. I liked it so much because it had the little stones or gems in the eyes. I really liked it. This is the standard head that he's packed with. And I kind of popped it on. You know what? Let me put it on. It's just that one just sits on there. But just to show you that I'm not kidding when I tell you this Skeletor head is not good at all. One more thing before I cut out with these guys. You can see the tassels on the shoulders of all these Skeletors are together. And I don't know if they just did it that way back in the day because it was easier instead of sculpting separate tassels like this. But they all are, it just looks better, or maybe I'm just used to that. It could be that I'm just used to it. Dogmatic, but I don't like it. Don't like it. And because I got all my Skeletors standing around not doing anything, we're going to put their staffs in the air and wave them around like they just don't care. Take a look at the differences in the staff. This staff is based on the original. It's practically the original vintage staff at the head with the ram horns jutting out to the side. And this one is based on the cartoon. And so is this one. The current staff and the classic staff. The current one is much more detailed and scary. That's the absolute most wicked staff that there is. I think this one might be my favorite right here out of all of them because it just looks so Filmation cartoony. It has the crystal ball. I'm not blocking the light. It has like the crystal ball is not painted, but it's right there at the top and the back that he would peer through on the cartoon. But definitely scariest Halloween costume is going to this guy. He's the scariest looking Skeletor of them all. All right, moving on. Something I didn't do. While I was posing him around bringing out other guys, I noticed this wrist is kind of loose. And the staff kept turning on me a little bit. Just want to point that out. It's not bad, but it's loose. So we're going to pop his head off since I was popping heads off. Take his head off. Take this top piece of armor. Here it is, a separate piece. Right there. It's all one solid plastic. Everything else is paint apps. And take his cape off. And I'm pretty sure you can get this cape on any Master of the Universe guy you want. I'm not going to do all that, but it's just a little hole. So I'm pretty sure you can do that. And this armor has one peg. I actually like the way this armor looks in the back. One peg right there. And we can pop it off. And he has that same, like, texture body. I guess it's the same sculpt as He-Man, but, like, kind of just a little texture to it that's not present on his arms or anywhere else. Not even his legs. It makes you wonder why they did that. I know it's a harder, different plastic than these other parts, but like I said, let's get this. Have we ever gotten an unhooded Skeletor with just a skull floating around? This is how it looks, man. That head looks little on this body without that armor. The loincloth or tassel pieces or whatever this is, it does not come off. It's connected or glued in at the belt. All right, let's give Skeletor a proper size up and rundown. We're going to start with the other figures from his current wave, He-Man and Evil Lyn. Here he is with Star Wars Black Series Darth Vader. Transformers Kingdom Galvatron, McFarlane Snyder Cut Dark Side, and Super 7's Mum-Ra Mummy form. My staff is better than yours. You little shit. All right, turning the focus back on just this Skeletor, we're going to see if he can ride the Classics Panther. And the reason I bring out a lot of Classics figures because I was so hoping, a lot of people were hoping that this line, before we knew more about it, would kind of be like model after that body and that style, and you could just interchange some of the parts. So, but anyway, get this guy. And I'm noticing when I'm posing him around, the legs are on like this weird joint, and you got to kind of push in and up to put them back where they came from. So, see if I can get him sitting on Panther. See if he looks natural. Looks pretty cool sitting up there. And if you saw my He-Man review, these guys fit in all the Classics vehicles, and it looks totally natural. All right, I want to give some final commentary on this Skeletor. First, I want to talk about Mark Hamill doing the voice for Skeletor. Everyone, including myself, was so excited that we were getting Mark Hamill for another voice acting clip. But in a cartoon, the Netflix cartoon for Master of the Universe, he came across sounding exactly like the Joker from Justice League Unlimited and Justice League and Batman animated series, because he voiced that Joker. And I know it's the exact same actor, but he has a greater range than that. And if you close your eyes and you listen to him speak, the pattern of his speech and the sinister by him being a bad guy at the same time, it sounds so much like the Joker. I couldn't stop hearing the Joker from the animated series in Justice League. And I just to bring him in and have all this whoop-de-doo, and then at the end, if you watch the entire Master Universe series, they bring Mark Hamill on to kind of like pump him up because he's riding that wave of, I guess, success and popularity. We've always been popular, but popularity coming off of The Mandalorian, and it just was not that good of a voice acting performance as Skeletor. I thought, they overhyped it. I'm just like, and I love Mark Hamill, man. Really do love the Luke Skywalker, love the Joker portrayal, but his Skeletor is like, damn, that's the Joker. But anyway, back to this figure. He's a cool figure. The body that they use for this line is pretty damn good. It's the basic buck with a few changes. The feet are pretty big for some odd reason. Had trouble with the hips up here and the legs, getting him to stand up and just keeping his legs together. And I've almost said it just then. This one hand likes to rotate. And I'm not a fan of the skull. But it's one of those things where, like, man, it's Skeletor. You kind of need Skeletor. He-Man was good. I like the He-Man figure, except for the wash on the head. But he was a good figure. You can't have He-Man without Skeletor. Pretty cool figure. This figure's out right now. I don't know if I really want to just say, yeah, go get it, because it's not that great, but it's a pretty cool figure. The cape could have been better. And the wash could have been better. Not one of the better figures from this line. I think so far it's Evil Lyn, then He-Man, then Battle Cat. Standalone Battle Cat, because he can't ride He-Man. So, and Skeletor is coming in fourth, with so far Moss Man coming in dead last. I think Moss Man is going to end up dead last. If you haven't seen my Moss Man review, spoiler. So that's all I got. Thank you for watching another episode of George Reviews. The reviews where every toy has a story.